Greetings, Johnny Matthews, Cannabis Talk Show Live, and we are still here at the MJ Biz Con Next in the beautiful city of the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana. And I have a special guest with me now that is going to tell you a bit about his service that he's offering the cannabis industry. He comes to the cannabis industry with 30 years of experience in this beautiful industry, and his name is Mr. John Russo. He is the founder and CEO of Indigo Therapuetics in Richmond, California. Good afternoon, John. Thanks for being a part of Cannabis Talk Show Live.
Good afternoon, Johnny. It's a pleasure to be here.
John, if you can tell our listening viewers a little bit about Indigo Therapuetics and the can-amazing service that you're going to be offering California cannabis businesses.
Well, I'd be glad to, Johnny. Indigo Therapeutics was established 3 years ago in 2015, primarily to build the largest independent manufacturer of pharmaceutical-grade extracts and related products at scale. So, as we know, a lot of this industry has been smaller scale and under the covers, so to speak, but as we get legal and we get licensed, and the size of this market is going to demand that the products that are consumed are higher quality and have to be manufactured at larger quantities than we are doing now. In order to do that, we have to scale up our manufacturing capability. That's what we intend to do at Indigo Therapeutics.
Oh, great. Sounds can-amazing. John, tell us a little bit about your can-amazing facility.
Okay. So the facility we're in Richmond is pretty unique to the industry. We get many comments from visitors who come out expecting to see a traditional cannabis manufacturing operation. It was originally built by Chevron. Richmond, by the way, is the home of Chevron. And Chevron Petroleum, correct, and they have a refinery there, and there are several refineries in the area, so it's an area that's very comfortable with large-scale manufacturing and hydrocarbon use of hydrocarbons. So we found an old facility that they built in the 80s to do their chemical research, and shortly after they built it, they used it for about 10 years, and then a pharmaceutical company came in and converted it to pharmaceutical manufacturing, built some additional GMP facilities there that kind of go along with the laboratory environment as well. And then that entity was purchased by Bayer Pharmaceuticals and operated under Bayer for some time. And about 5 years ago or so, the facility came up for sale. It was purchased by a real estate group, and we managed to get into that facility, and it's really given us an ability to move quickly with infrastructure that's just unmatched in the industry, and allow us to kind of set the stage for the future when higher standards are going to be required by government regulations, and eventually, if we get into federal regulation in the FDA, we're very well situated in this facility to be able to meet all those standards. So it allows us to move very quickly.
Wow, amazing. John, so what would be the advantages of cannabis companies using your service for their concentrates?
So, as I said, we are trying to raise the bar, if you will, on the standard of the standards and the quality level of the product that we produce and that is produced in the industry. And also, that may be feasible or doable at a smaller scale, but this market is growing, the industry is growing, and it's going to be necessary to be able to produce high quality products in very large quantities at scale to service the entire market. An individual manufacturer may be able to produce their own required concentrates at a smaller scale, but their demand could potentially easily outpace their ability to produce that. So we're not only able to provide material for people who don't want to get into the manufacturing side of it, because it is very capital intensive and requires a fair bit of expertise, and a facility like ours is pretty hard to match. And then also for brands that have made the investment and can produce some level of material, some quantity of material, we're able to fill in when their demand exceeds their ability to supply their own concentrate.
Amazing. Is it safe to say that you also would be reducing their bottom line, because you guys would be absorbing the lab testing and things like that of the material, or how does that work? Because I'm sure all of your material will be tested, everything that has to be tested in California starting in July
Correct.
of 2018.
Correct. So there's several ways that we could help with their bottom line. When you do things in larger batches at scale, yes, you can spread the cost of the testing across a larger quantity of material, so that helps. But I think probably more than that, we're going to be producing this material at such a quantity, and you know, the typical way of producing material in the market today is to buy a quote-unquote machine from somebody. We don't buy machines from people. We have built a factory with our own engineers and our own expertise, and we're able to process material at a very large scale using our own processes that we've designed and have scaled our manufacturing capability to match those.
Wow, and I'm sure all of those, all of your equipment has gone through the proper testing.
Correct.
And John, if you would explain to our viewing listeners the quality and the consistency of your product.
Right. So when you're able to process a large amount of material using semi-automated or automated equipment, you're able to replicate your processes with fewer human interventions and the errors and inconsistencies that go along with that. So the consistency is there. Our quality standards are high. Our facilities are GMP rated facilities, so they're clean, and there's SOPs for maintaining quality levels and cleanliness. And the most important thing, I think, in the California market today is just the whole pesticide issue. So we've got very, very, very strict SOPs and policies to keep pesticide and pesticide-laden material out of our facility, because once it enters, it can wreak havoc. So we're very, very conscious of cleanliness and quality.
Yes. Well, great. Well, John, now tell our listening viewers, how would they contact Indigo Therapeutics?
Well, our domain is indigoextracts.com. Our website is the same, www.indigoextracts.com. There's an info@indigoextracts mailbox, which will arrive in several people's desktops, including my own. So if you'd like to reach out to us, you can use any of those internet methods.
Well, it sounds amazing. And one last question, John. What is a typical or general turnaround on a product? If you can give us an example, if a company reached out to you and needed a supply for maybe 10 pounds. 10
pounds of concentrate.
Yes,
oh, that's
in various forms.
Yeah, so the various forms is the question there. We typically have generic material on the shelf in that quantity, at any particular time. However,
Nice.
What we normally do with certain customers is to try to help them formulate a specific product to their needs, whether there's a certain terpene profile or there's a certain CBD THC ratio they want to achieve, or any other types of formulations. We have the laboratory facilities and the chemists that are able to work with people on their formulations. If they're proprietary, we maintain their confidentiality. Since we don't have our own brand, we're a little bit safer group to operate with in terms of proprietary formulations, because we're not inclined to want to go replicate those and put them in under our own brand. We're not in the marketplace with a retail brand. We strictly work through other people's brands and help them formulate proprietary formulations if they have them, or if they need help formulating them, then we can do all that. And we can even go so far as to package the material using their own packagings that they can have delivered to our facility. We have packaging capability, and we also have a distribution license, which allows us to insert that product into the retail channel through our distribution arm. And so the customer really doesn't have to do anything but sit back and collect money, I suppose.
Wow.
Now, there's a little more to it than that, but they're responsible for marketing and sales and relationship building with the dispensaries, etc. But all the under license legwork can all be done by us from soup to nuts.
Wow. Well, you've heard it from the man himself, Mr. John Russo of Indigo Therapeutics. You guys have heard the information where to contact Indigo Therapeutics. Go to their website at www.indigotherapeutics. IndigoExtracts.com. Let's make that clear. And www.indigoextracts.com. John, I want to thank you for being a part of Cannabis Talk Show Live. I wish you nothing but success in your endeavors in the cannabis industry.
Thank you, Johnny, and it was a pleasure to be here.
All right. New Orleans, we're still here, and we're going to get more interviews from some of these amazing movers and shakers in the cannabis industry. Live and direct from MJ BizCon next 2018, New Orleans, Louisiana. We're out.
How'd you get it?